Hey guys, I'm Mark Humphreys. I'm a little bit late to the tomato cage game this season, but I wanted to show you my own technique for making these DIY tomato cages. They're really industrial, so they're definitely going to stand up to the wind that we get here in Reno, Nevada. And I like the way that they look, especially with some of the steel accents that I put on this specific planter box. So I'll show you how I actually bend them all up and then how I put them on the tomatoes, especially when they're this mature. All right, so the cattle panels that I ended up finding are only a 7 foot tall by 4 feet wide. You can also find them in like 16 foot long sections. So the one most important thing for these size of tomato cages is that you're gonna have to have 6 squares wide. So 6 of these. And so I'm gonna cut off one along this length. And then in my particular case, I wanted to cut one off, and then I have 2 of these panels. I'm gonna tear off the middle sections, or like the cross members, so that way I can stake them into the ground, so that way they'll be a little bit more industrial or windproof. Now, one of the things that I found in watching some other guys build these tomato cages is that they would leave this small cross section attached to the longer edge, and it's really difficult to push that into the ground. So when I'm cutting these, I'm gonna cut towards the middle of them, and that way I can use this middle section as a way to like bend it each side, so I get some more leverage and they just snap right off. And that's one of the big things that'll make your life a lot easier when you're wrapping them around your tomatoes and digging them into the ground. On these very edges, it's really difficult to actually like bend and snap them off because you don't have leverage on both sides. So I get a pair of vice grips and grab this little overhang and just start twisting it back and forth, and eventually it will snap right off. Next step is just simply bending them in a 90-degree angle. So you're gonna need a long 2x4. Just put it at the base of where you're gonna divide them in 3 sections, and then just do like a rough bend, nothing too complicated. Just kind of maybe overbend it. And then you're gonna use the hammer to really get the bend to be a 90-degree angle. So now I just like to stand on the 2x4. See how bowed this is? I'm just gonna nail it a little bit, or hammer it a little bit more straight. These tomato cages are around 6 feet tall, but we're gonna dig 2 of those sections into the ground. So on these super kind of mature tomato plants, you just wanna gently guide them in the right direction and put one of them in at a time. Before I start pushing down, I'm gonna make sure that these are not touching the cross members. And you just apply equal pressure. The last step is just taking some zip ties and tying them all up together. So you definitely need 4, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, but you can use some smaller ones to really go to town on some of these, depending on how strong you want them to be all throughout the season. And then at the end, you'll just simply clip all the zip ties and be able to stack these all nice and neatly in your storage shed or wherever it be. If you guys have any questions on these or have any pictures of the tomato cages you assembled using this video, leave them in the comments below. Thanks.